L-I-D-E and L-M-E-N. There is a world within you so vast, so rich, so full of beauty and wisdom, and yet so many of us forget to explore it. We live in a culture that teaches us to look outward. From a young age, we are taught to measure ourselves by the standards of others, by the grades we receive, the attention we get, the job we hold, or the way we look. We are told that success, love, and validation live out there somewhere, just beyond reach, and if we work hard enough, maybe, just maybe, we will feel good enough. But the truth is, your worth was never meant to be measured by external things. You were never meant to chase approval. You were never supposed to abandon yourself to belong. And yet, we do it. We grow up ignoring the whispers of our inner voice because the outside world speaks louder. We quiet our intuition to please others. We suppress our emotions to stay safe. We bury our true desires under layers of shoulds and expectations. But that quiet inner voice never really goes away. It waits patiently for the moment you are ready to listen. The power of your inner world is not just spiritual, it is psychological. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your memories, your wounds, your dreams, they form the foundation of your reality. What you believe about yourself shapes the way you experience life. If you believe you are not good enough, you will filter every experience through that belief. If you believe you must always be strong, you will never allow yourself to rest. These beliefs are often unconscious, formed in childhood, hidden deep beneath the surface. But they are there, influencing your every decision, your every reaction, your every relationship. And this is where true healing begins, not in changing the outer world, but in turning inward with love and curiosity. When we begin to pay attention to our thoughts and feelings, without judgment, we open the door to transformation. Awareness is the first step toward becoming your true self. It is the light that reveals the path. When you begin to explore your inner world, you will discover so much more than pain or old wounds. You will also find wisdom, the kind that only you can access. You will begin to uncover your truth, the truth that has always been there beneath the noise of the world. This process is not always easy. Sometimes it means facing uncomfortable truths. It means acknowledging fear or grief or anger that you may have carried for years. But these emotions are not your enemies. They are messengers. They come to show you where love is needed most. When you stop running from your inner world and start embracing it, you give yourself permission to grow. You give yourself permission to be whole. Your mind is powerful, but your heart is wiser. When you drop from your head into your heart, you begin to hear what truly matters. You begin to feel what has long been silenced. You begin to remember who you are beneath the roles you play and the masks you wear. And it is here, in this sacred space, that your true self begins to emerge. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are not the labels others have placed on you. You are not the voice that says you're not good enough. You are the presence behind all of that. You are the awareness, the light, the love that sees all parts of you and chooses compassion anyway. That is your power. That is your truth. So begin where you are. You don't need to fix yourself. You were never broken. You only need to return. Return to the center of your being. Return to the quiet knowing within. Return to the part of you that remembers your wholeness even when the world has forgotten it. You are allowed to stop chasing You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to feel. And as you begin to honor your inner world, your outer world will shift in ways you never imagined. Let this be your practice. To sit with yourself each day in love, to ask, what do I feel? And what do I need? To breathe into your body and listen to what it wants to tell you. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need to begin the conversation. And in doing so, you will awaken the wisdom within you that has always been there, waiting for you to come home. Within each of us is a space that holds everything we have ever been. The beautiful and the difficult, the joyful and the painful, the parts we've shown to the world and the parts we've hidden away. So often, we are taught to only accept the pieces of ourselves that are easy to love. We are praised for being good, for being polite, for being strong, for being what others expect of us. But what about the parts of ourselves that don't fit into those boxes? What about the feelings we were told were too much? The anger, the sadness, the fear. What about the behaviors we learned to hide? The jealousy, the insecurity, the shame? These parts of us do not disappear. They live within us, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be healed. They become the shadow, not because they are evil or wrong, but because we have pushed them into the dark. And just like any child who has been forgotten, these parts call out to us, sometimes loudly, through our triggers, our reactions, our habits, and our emotional pain. But we do not need to fear them. We need only to understand them. When you feel overwhelmed by an emotion, or when you notice yourself reacting in a way that surprises you, pause. That is a message from your shadow, younger, unhealed part of you asking to be seen. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are simply being called inward. Let us be gentle here. Let us bring love instead of judgment. You have spent enough time criticizing yourself, punishing yourself, wishing you were different. Now is the time to meet yourself with compassion. You cannot heal what you do not acknowledge, and you cannot transform what you do not love. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It holds the keys to your freedom. So how do we begin this sacred work? We start by becoming aware. When you notice a pattern that repeats, whether in relationships, in emotions, or in self-sabotaging behavior, rather than shaming yourself, become curious. Ask yourself, where did I learn this? What is this part of me trying to protect? What pain might it be holding? Often, the shadow carries stories from childhood, moments when you felt unloved, unseen, or unsafe. And so it creates beliefs to protect you. But those beliefs no longer serve who you are becoming. When we lovingly bring these hidden parts into the light, we begin to integrate. That is what healing is, not rejecting the parts of you that hurt, but inviting them back home. Integration means that you can feel anger without being consumed by it, that you can express sadness without feeling ashamed, that you can know your fears and still move forward. Integration is wholeness. And as you continue this journey, you will notice something beautiful begin to happen. The parts of you that once felt like weaknesses will begin to reveal their gifts. Your sensitivity, once seen as a flaw, becomes your empathy. Your anger, once feared, becomes your boundary. Your sadness, once buried, becomes your depth. These are not things to get rid of. They are treasures waiting to be reclaimed. You may find that this journey brings up emotions. That is okay. You are safe to feel. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to grieve the parts of you that were not accepted. You are allowed to hold yourself gently with both hands and whisper, I see you now. You are safe with me. Remember, no part of you is unlovable. There is nothing inside of you that cannot be held in compassion. You are a whole, complex, radiant being. And you do not have to choose between light and dark. You were always meant to be both. You were always meant to be real. This is the beauty of becoming your true self. It is not about being perfect. It is not about fixing what is wrong. It is about embracing what is real. It is about loving yourself, all of yourself, with honesty, with courage, and with deep unconditional acceptance. So today, let it be enough to take one loving step inward. Welcome the part of you that you have been afraid to face. Sit with it, listen to it, hold it as you would a child. Tell it that it belongs. And as you do this, something miraculous will begin to happen. You will feel lighter, freer, and more whole. You will begin to come home to yourself. And there is no greater healing than that. There is a language your soul speaks, one that goes beyond logic, beyond words, beyond what the mind can fully grasp. It is the language of dreams, symbols, images, and sensations. You may not always understand it at first, but it is always speaking to you. Every night, as you close your eyes and surrender to sleep, your inner world awakens. And in that sacred space, your subconscious communicates in ways that are rich with meaning, messages, and mirror. Your dreams are not random. They are not nonsense. They are sacred messages. Think of them as love letters from the deeper self, the part of you that remembers who you really are. This part of you holds not only your wounds, but your gifts, your purpose, and your truth. And it is constantly guiding you toward healing and wholeness, even when you are unaware. When you begin to pay attention to your dreams, something extraordinary happens. You begin to realize that your inner self has never stopped speaking. It has only been waiting for you to listen. Symbols appear, animals, people, places, and emotions, all designed to show you what your conscious mind may not yet understand. You may dream of being chased, of flying, of losing something, of finding something. Each of these images carries a vibration, a meaning unique to you. What matters most is how it makes you feel. Begin to treat your dreams with respect. Keep a journal by your bed. When you wake, instead of rushing into the day, pause and gently ask, what did I experience in my dreams? You don't have to analyze or interpret right away. Just write, let it flow without judgment. Over time, patterns will emerge. You may notice themes repeating, emotions rising, old memories resurfacing. This is your inner self showing you what needs attention, what is ready to be healed, and what desires to be expressed. But it is not only through dreams that this symbolic language speaks. You may notice signs in your waking life, repeating numbers, unexpected encounters, a song on the radio that speaks to your soul. These are not coincidences. They are synchronicities. They are the way the universe, the higher self, or your own deep mind communicates with you, nudging you, reminding you that you are being guided. It's important to approach this inner work with curiosity and compassion. You don't have to get everything right. You don't need to decode every symbol perfectly. What matters is your willingness to explore, your openness to learn, your decision to trust that there is more to you than what you've been told. There is wisdom within you that no book can teach, a knowing that rises not from intellect, but from intuition. Sometimes these symbols bring up uncomfortable feelings. A dream may feel scary or strange or overwhelming. That does not mean something bad is coming. Often, the dreams that feel intense are simply shining a light on a shadow, a part of you that is asking to be seen. Don't turn away. Don't suppress it. Sit with it. Ask what it wants you to know. Every part of you, even the fearful ones, holds a sacred message. And every time you honor that message, you become more aligned with your true self. There is such a beauty in reclaiming this connection with your inner world. So many of us have been taught to ignore our feelings, to dismiss our intuition, to laugh off our dreams. But now you are learning a new way, or perhaps remembering an ancient one. You are learning to walk through life, not just with your eyes open, but with your heart open. You are learning to trust the unseen, to follow the whispers, to believe that there is more to you than meets the eye. You are not here to live on autopilot. You are not here to simply survive the day. You are here to awaken, to live consciously, to become aware of the messages being sent to you every day. Through dreams, through signs, through your own inner voice. When you begin to truly listen, you no longer feel lost. You begin to feel held, guided, and deeply connected to something bigger than yourself. So honor your dreams, honor your inner voice. Even if it whispers, even if it speaks in riddles or images, trust that it speaks with love. Your subconscious is not a mystery to be feared, but a garden to be explored. And as you do this inner exploration, you will find parts of yourself you didn't even know you had lost. This is the path of wholeness. This is the journey home. Throughout your life, you have learned how to fit in. From the moment you were born, the world began to shape you through words, through actions, through silent expectations. You were told who to be, how to behave, what was acceptable and what was not. And in order to be loved, to be safe, to be accepted, you adapted. You began to wear masks, masks of politeness, strength, perfection, control, masks that helped you survive. But the time comes when these masks begin to feel heavy, when they no longer protect you, but limit you, when the false self you've created begins to suffocate the real one that longs to breathe. Every mask you wear has a story. Perhaps you were taught not to cry, so you wore the mask of strength. Maybe your uniqueness wasn't welcomed, so you wore the mask of conformity. Perhaps you were punished for expressing anger, so you learned to smile even when you were in pain. These masks were never your fault. They were your way of coping, and for a time they served you. But now you are waking up. Now you are beginning to remember that you are more than who the world told you to be. The process of becoming your true self is not about blaming others. It is about reclaiming yourself. It's about gently peeling away the layers that are not really you. It's about asking with loving honesty, is this thought mine? Is this belief still serving me? Am I living my truth or someone else's story? This is the journey inward, a sacred unraveling, not to destroy what you've built, but to finally meet the you beneath it all. Removing the false self doesn't mean you abandon your responsibilities or relationship. It means you begin to show up more authentically in all areas of life. You stop saying yes when your heart says no. You stop hiding your emotions just to keep the peace. You stop editing yourself to be digestible. You begin to trust that who you are, as you are, is enough. And more than that, it is beautiful. This path requires courage, yes, but not force. You don't have to rip the masks off all at once. You can be gentle. You can take one small step at a time. You can begin by noticing. Notice the places where you feel drained, the moments where you shrink, the times you smile when you really want to cry. These are the breadcrumbs that lead you back to yourself. Follow them with curiosity, not criticism. You are not here to perform. You are here to live. And in this living, you will rediscover joy, real joy, not the joy that comes from being praised or accepted by others, but the joy that arises from being aligned with your truth. You will begin to feel lighter, freer, more at peace. You will begin to attract people and experiences that reflect the real you, not the role you used to play. Yes, it's true. Not everyone will understand your transformation. Some may resist it. They may miss the version of you that kept quiet, that didn't ask for more, that fit neatly into the mold they preferred. But that's okay. Not everyone is meant to walk with you on every part of your journey. The ones who truly love you will celebrate your growth. And more importantly, you will learn to celebrate you. This is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. Beneath the masks, beneath the layers, beneath the conditioning, there is a self that has always been whole, always been wise, always been worthy. This self does not need to be fixed or improved. It only needs to be revealed. So today, take a deep breath and give yourself permission to be honest, not just with others, but with yourself. Ask, where have I been pretending? Where have I abandoned myself to belong? And then lovingly bring yourself back. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to outgrow versions of yourself that were created from fear. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are exactly as you were meant to be. And the more you embrace that truth, the more you shine. The masks may have helped you survive, but they are not needed for you to thrive. It's safe to let them go. The world needs your authenticity, your depth, your realness. And most of all, you need you, the real you, the whole you, the beautifully imperfect, radiant self who has always been there, waiting to be loved and seen. So many of us have been taught to strive for perfection, to always be better, do more, and never let anything slip through the cracks. We were praised for getting things right, for being strong, for hiding our messiness. And slowly, without realizing it, we began to believe that if we could just be perfect, we would finally be loved, finally be enough, finally be safe. But perfection is not real. It is a moving target, a fantasy created by fear. And the more you chase it, the further away you drift from your true self. There is a deep difference between perfection and wholeness. Perfection is rigid. It's full of shame and comparison. It says, you are not enough as you are. Wholeness, however, is soft, loving, and inclusive. It says, all of you is welcome here. Wholeness is not about fixing what is wrong. It is about embracing what is true. And when we stop trying to be perfect and start honoring our wholeness, something shifts. We begin to heal. Your worth is not something you earn by being flawless. Your value is not based on how many mistakes you avoid. You were born worthy. You were born whole. And no experience, no failure, no wound can take that away from you. That truth cannot be broken. It can only be forgotten. And now you are remembering it. There will always be parts of you that feel raw or tender. Parts of you that you'd rather hide. But what if those very parts are where the light gets in? What if your vulnerability is not a weakness, but a doorway to connection? What if your imperfections are not flaws, but invitations to love yourself deeper? To live from a place of wholeness is to give up the lie that you must earn love. It is to choose yourself again and again, especially when the world makes you doubt. It is to say, even with all of this, the fear, the sadness, the unpolished edges, I still belong. I am still enough. And this isn't just about emotional well-being. This shift changes how you move through life. When you release the need to be perfect, you become more creative, more open, more courageous. You take risks not because you know you'll succeed, but because you are no longer afraid of failing. You speak your truth, not because it's polished, but because it's real. You connect with others more deeply because you are no longer hiding behind a mask. Perfection isolates. It tells you to pretend, to compare, to compete. But wholeness invites community. It says, let's show up as we are. It says, your story matters. Your voice matters. You matter. Imagine how freeing it would be to wake up each morning and not feel like you have to prove yourself. Imagine feeling safe in your own skin. Imagine knowing that you don't have to do more or be more, that you are already enough. This way of living doesn't happen overnight. It is a practice, a daily remembering. Some days, the old voices will rise up. The inner critic, the fear of being seen, the pressure to be perfect. That's okay. Don't fight them. Don't silence them. Just don't believe them. Instead, respond with love. Put your hand on your heart and say, even this part of me is lovable. Even this part belongs. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to not have all the answers. And none of this makes you weak. It makes you whole. When you stop running from yourself, when you stop trying to polish every corner of your being, you begin to find peace. Real peace. Not the kind that comes from control, but the kind that comes from surrender. Surrendering to what is. Surrendering to who you are. And here's the beautiful truth. The more you embrace your wholeness, the more you give others permission to do the same. Your authenticity becomes a lighthouse. Your self-love becomes a ripple. Your wholeness becomes a gift, not just to yourself, but to everyone around you. So let go of perfection. Let go of shame. Let go of the belief that you are only lovable when everything looks perfect on the outside. Come home to yourself. Welcome all of you, because you, in your realness, in your fullness, in your wholeness, are more than enough. You always have been. You always will be. There is a part of you that has never been afraid. A part of you that was never hurt, never ashamed, never broken. This part of you is whole, sacred, and timeless. It lives beneath the layers of life's experiences, beneath the fears you've collected, the beliefs you've inherited, the roles you've played. This is your sacred self. And no matter what you have gone through, no matter how disconnected you may feel, this self is still here. It has never left you. It has only been waiting for you to return. Returning to your sacred self is not about becoming something better. It's not about striving to be more spiritual, more healed, more enlightened. It's about remembering what has always been true, that you are enough, just as you are, that you are worthy of love, that you are connected to a greater truth, that you already carry within you the light you seek from others. Over the years, many of us have learned to abandon ourselves. We were told that being quiet made us good, that pleasing others made us valuable, that productivity made us successful. And so we began to live from the outside in. We chased validation. We wore masks. We pushed away our own needs and feelings in order to fit in, be liked, or feel safe. But every time we ignore our inner truth to meet an outer demand, we lose a little piece of ourselves, not permanently, but we forget. We forget who we are. And we forget how powerful it is to simply be. This is why the journey inward matters. It is not selfish. It is sacred. When you begin to turn your attention inward, you reconnect with the part of you that remembers. You begin to feel the presence that has always been with you through every joy, every pain, every moment of silence. This presence is not harsh. It is not demanding. It does not criticize or judge. It only loves. It only reminds you that you are not alone, that you are not broken, that nothing about you needs to be hidden. As you return to your sacred self, you may feel emotions rise. You may feel grief, not because you've done something wrong, but because you are finally honoring what has been buried. You may feel sorrow for the years you spent being hard on yourself, for the times you believed you were unworthy, for the moments you betrayed your truth just to belong. And it's okay to feel that grief. It's part of the healing. It means you are awakening. It means you are coming home. There is no perfect way to do this. You don't need a complicated process. You only need presence. You only need to be willing to listen, to pause, to breathe, and to ask gently, what do I need right now? What part of me is asking to be loved? And then, without rushing, you offer that part your compassion, your softness, your attention. This is the practice. Returning to yourself, moment by moment. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Your sacred self begins to feel familiar again. You start trusting your intuition. You start speaking your truth without fear. You start saying yes to what feels aligned and no to what drains you. You begin to live in integrity, not with what the world expects, but with what your soul knows to be true. And slowly, gently, your life begins to shift. You stop chasing things that don't feed your spirit. You stop abandoning yourself for acceptance. You stop dimming your light to keep others comfortable. Instead, you become the center of your own life, not in a selfish way, but in a sacred way. Because when you are grounded in your true self, you have more to give. You love more freely. You create more deeply. You serve more authentically. So trust this path. Trust that your soul knows the way home. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to fix yourself. You only have to return to the quiet, to the stillness, to the truth that has always lived within you. You are sacred. Your presence is sacred. Your life is sacred. And no matter how far you've wandered, it is never too late to return. Come back to your heart. Come back to your breath. Come back to the place inside of you that never forgot who you are. You are already whole. You are already worthy. You are already home.